What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas with another episode of This Week in Vegas. Hey, before I get into it, a quick announcement. Show Me Vegas is now on Patreon, so if you're interested in helping support the channel, help us bring you more Vegas content, go check that out on Patreon. There are 3 membership levels ranging from $2.99 a month on up. It's not required in any way, obviously, but if you want to help support the channel, please do go check that out. It'll help us bring you more and better content in the future for sure, and we would greatly appreciate it. The other thing is, This Week in Vegas, you might have noticed, is not exactly a weekly vlog lately. It takes quite a bit of time to put this together every week, and sometimes the news just isn't enough, or there's just too much going on. So considering moving this vlog down to just a bi-weekly vlog, might change the name from This Week in Vegas if that's the case. But thank you for continuing to watch this vlog. I do enjoy putting it together, but with summer coming up, time just gets away from me, and it might not be quite as frequent as it has been in the past. Those things out of the way, let's get you caught up with what happened this week in Vegas. All right, some of the biggest news this week in Las Vegas is that Caesars is possibly looking to sell the Flamingo. Now, I've mentioned on this vlog in the past that Caesars is trying to sell one of their strip assets. They've made no bones about that. They've said in the past they're trying to unload one of their strip assets. They're saddled with huge debt, and I think they're trying to get out of some of that with an influx of cash. It has long been rumored that they're trying to move either Bally's, Planet Hollywood, or the Flamingo, and now rumors are that it's the Flamingo they're trying to sell, and they're looking to get about $1 billion out of it. Now, I know this upsets a lot of people. The Flamingo is an iconic property. A lot of people love it. It has a great history, and it's perfectly situated on the Las Vegas Strip, but it is an aging property, and for a company that's not performing well financially, it does make sense to get rid of one of their older, more expensive to maintain properties. However, it does appear that that is possibly turning buyers away. People with knowledge of the situation have already said that some prospective buyers have said no thanks on the Flamingo, probably because of its age and high cost to maintain. Now, I did mention that Planet Hollywood had been one of the possible properties that Caesars was looking to move. However, someone with knowledge of the situation said that they decided to keep that because of the income generated by the theater there, the Zappos Theater at Planet Hollywood. So it looks like it's going to be the Flamingo. It's just a matter of time and finding the right buyer. Now, they're hoping to get that done by this summer, or at least have a deal in place. Said Caesars CEO Tom Reeg, "You shouldn't expect us to give you a play-by-play." That's just another quote from the Caesars CEO that just really rubs me the wrong way. This guy is the CEO of a financially failing company, and yet he's just repeatedly smug with reporters. You'd think that he was wildly successful based on the way he talks. This is the same guy who last year in an earnings call said something to the effect of, "God forbid people stop at McDonald's on the way home." He said that about buffets coming back at Caesars property, which, as we know, only one has come back. That's the Bacchanal buffet. He said that as if it wasn't his hotel's responsibility to feed its guests, which is absolutely ridiculous. You would think that the CEO of a major hospitality corporation would know that food and beverage is a big piece of the pie these days, but evidently not, and perhaps that's why Caesars is failing like it is. How badly is Caesars Entertainment failing? Well, let's take a look at the numbers. Despite the fact that occupancy levels are skyrocketing in Las Vegas, nearing 100% as we get to summer, Caesars Entertainment is losing more money than ever. Caesars Entertainment's first quarter revenue was up 28% over last year, and yet their net loss is up 61%. In the first quarter of 2021, when business was not very good, Caesars Entertainment lost $423 million. In the first quarter of 2022, while business is booming in Las Vegas, and revenue is going through the roof, Caesars Entertainment lost $680 million, an increase of more than $260 million in losses year over year. Their earnings per share has gone from negative $2.03 to negative $3.18. It really appears to just be a very poorly run company. Contrast that with MGM Resorts. MGM Resorts is also experiencing, obviously, a big boom in revenue in 2022. And they have nearly broken even finally after the pandemic. They lost just $18 million in the first quarter compared to a $332 million loss in the first quarter last year. So MGM Resorts has managed to nearly break even in the first quarter based on this expanded revenue and big business in Las Vegas, while Caesars is just losing more money than ever. It's really quite fascinating. Also in the news this week, and you probably didn't miss this, a body was found in a barrel at the bottom of Lake Mead. Well, what used to be the bottom of Lake Mead. In case you've been living under a rock somewhere, the water level in Lake Mead has been dropping significantly for years now as the drought in the west and the Colorado River Basin continues to expand, not ease. Well, the lake level at Lake Mead has dropped more than 150 feet since its peak back in the early 80s. As a matter of fact, it's more than 150 feet down since just 2000. Well, that receding water has exposed what used to be lake bottom as now the shoreline, and recently a barrel was found right at the edge of the water that contained a human body. Police say the person, who has yet to be identified, was likely a victim of a murder in the late 70s to early 80s. Now, that was a time, if you've seen the movie Casino, that's based on real events, and it was based on that exact time frame. So it's fascinating. You can practically picture Joe Pesci as Nicky Santoro dumping a barrel in Lake Mead. Police say there's no indication the barrel has moved over time. So at the time that body was dumped there in the early 80s or late 70s, the water would have been more than 150 feet deep in that spot, so that would have been dumped hundreds of yards offshore. Now, just days after that discovery, more human remains were found in Lake Mead. There's no telling how many dozens, if not hundreds, of bodies there might be at the bottom of that lake, and it'll be interesting to see just how many turn up as the lake continues to recede. Now, as the lake recedes, another interesting thing that has popped up is this drain intake valve that has been underwater since 1971. It had been in continuous operation since 1971, and now it is exposed. It's sticking out of the water and can no longer draw water out of the lake. Just incredible how far the lake has fallen. We could fill an entire episode just on Lake Mead and what's going on there with the drought. It's an ugly situation, to say the least. Now, this lake level is going to trigger some significant water usage restrictions next year, so hopefully that'll help. But rain and snowpack in the Colorado River Basin are the only things that are going to save the lake from dropping even further at this point. Also in the news in Las Vegas this week, Houston billionaire Tillman Fertitta announced he was buying 6 acres of land on the Las Vegas Strip and intends to build a resort. Now, this land is located at the corner of Harmon Avenue and Las Vegas Boulevard. It's an ugly piece of property there. There's a Tex-Mex restaurant, or used to be, and a famous travel lodge there. So that's all going to be going away if his plans come to fruition. 6 acres doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're building a high-rise, you can fit quite a bit into 6 acres. That's a really good piece of property. It's right across from City Center, and a brand new resort will look great on that property. If you don't know who Tillman Fertitta is, he's actually the cousin of Frank Fertitta Jr., who's the CEO of Red Rock Resorts, but he's more famous than that on his own right. He's a billionaire, and he is from Houston, Texas. He owns the Houston Rockets. He also owns the Landry's Corporation, which includes several restaurant chains, and the Golden Nugget in both Las Vegas and Atlantic City. So he's got a lot of business dealings and probably, I would say, has the wherewithal to make this happen. So exciting things. There's a lot of new resorts planned for the Las Vegas Strip, and this one is probably the best located out of all of them. Finally, in the news this week in Las Vegas, MGM Resorts has cleared a regulatory hurdle toward buying the Cosmopolitan. Now, we've mentioned on this vlog in the past that MGM is buying the operating rights to the Cosmopolitan. There's still some housework to do there. They just cleared one key regulatory hurdle this week. The Gaming Control Board voted unanimously to recommend approval of the transfer to MGM from Nevada Property One LLC, which is a subsidiary of the company that currently controls the Cosmopolitan, the Blackstone Group. The Nevada Gaming Commission will consider final approval on May 19th. So after May 19th, they may have final clearance to go ahead and close on this. Now, a lot of people have been asking what's going to happen to the identity program at the Cosmopolitan. I think it's going away. Some employees at the Cosmopolitan have been telling people that they think it's going to stay, but some quotes from MGM executives have really indicated to me that they intend to roll this into the MGM Rewards program. When that will happen is anyone's guess. It probably won't happen right away, but I think they'll probably try to do it by the end of this year. Of course, we know MGM is also selling the operating rights to the Mirage. Now, Hard Rock International, who's buying the Mirage, has said that they do intend to do away with the Volcano. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen because that deal hasn't closed either. It's not expected to close until the second half of this year. So you do have a little bit of time to go stay at the Mirage while it's still the Mirage, and I know a lot of people have been doing that. So definitely get out to the Mirage and see it one last time this summer before the deal closes, because it sounds like Hard Rock is going to move quickly when they finally do close on this deal. That's it for this episode, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you would, go check us out on Patreon. We'd love to have your support. You can support the channel monetarily there and also get some cool perks out of it. You can also join as a member on YouTube. Just click that join button down below and the options will come up. But either way, we're going to continue to produce the same type of content for you. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss any videos. Hey, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.